From the Ticats Audio Network, this is Morreale and Hitch.
Robbie, welcome to number 6, buddy, of the Morreale and Hitch podcast. I'm Mike Morreale. That's Rob Hitchcock.
Good
Listen,
morning.
I got to apologize, bud.
Why?
Well, I've looked back. I've listened to I haven't watched any of our shows, but I've listened to lots. And apparently, I think I take control. I talk a lot. And I feel like you're not getting a fair shake, that you're not getting your moment in the sun. I already stole it, on when we both retired. And now on the podcast, I think today should be the Hitch and Morreale show.
Sure, you can keep going on it and just keep talking. I'll tell you.
You need me.
Yeah, you know what?
Though,
let me explain. Last week was a little different because I had an exam the next day.
Ooh.
I was very stressed. So when Whitey was on, for those of you who didn't listen to our show, we had a guest last week, and it was funny. I thought it was long. It was very long, but a guy that you've known him for a lot longer than I have. But fantastic show. But I was very quiet. I noticed that. I maybe said like 50 words because
what happened?
I just was stressed out.
Who wants to be stressed out for like school stuff and work stuff? That stinks.
No, you know what? It was awful. I mean, it's been like 6 weeks studying for these things. So one of those things, I had to get it done and didn't get it done again. But you know what? That's just par for the course.
It is what it is.
I have until January the 28th, people. January the 28th, I have until I've got to pass 3 major securities exams, not for security guard, but for securities exams in the US. So I plan on getting them done, but last week sucked because I didn't participate too much. So I apologize.
No, you didn't. So listen, today, if the floor is yours, if you want to do what you got to do.
I think we should start off by saying, talking about the games.
Let's talk about the games. Well, there was no game last week, but let's talk about in general.
So I'm looking at the East and the West. Okay. And the talk for us a couple of weeks ago was we got to watch that crossover. 4th place team in the West could, most of the time, I think it happened about 5 times when we played that they actually came over and played, took out the 3rd best team here. So there was that, that could have happened, but I'm looking at the standings right now. Toronto 6-3. Who would have thought?
I know.
Montreal 5-4. Hamilton 4-5, and Ottawa 2-8.
Yeah, okay. Ottawa's bad.
Ottawa's bad. And then you look at the other side. 9-1 Winnipeg. Ocean, Carl Walters, like 9-1. They're rolling. 5-4 Saskatchewan, 5-5 BC, and 4-5 Calgary, 2-7 the Elks. So I think the Grey Cup should
Elks
be
are bad.
Ottawa and the Elks should be.
That's who should be.
There'll be 1,300 people in the stands.
The score will be 3-2.
Yeah,
amazing.
But Hamilton, I was doing that game, and we talked briefly about it last week, and there's something to say when I remember in 2000 and what year was it? Was it 97? We were 2-16. And I don't know, you were with us in 97, weren't you?
97 was my first year. 95, 96. And 96 was I was still in Toronto.
Perfect time for you to come because we ended up 2-17.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
But if you remember, and I remember this like it was yesterday, we lost, I think, 8 or 10 games by less than 23 points total. Lost by 1, lost by 2, lost by a field goal. It was awful. Like we found ways to lose. We were up in the 4th quarter going into teams and we'd find a way to lose the game. And that's what Coach O said last week is we got to find a way to win instead of finding a way to lose. And it reminded me so bad from 2017. And I think we had Calvillo.
We did.
Calvillo. We
called AC.
What do we call AC? We called them happy feet. Remember in the pocket, the feet moving all around, happy.
Sudsy almost destroyed Anthony because Sudsy was hard on AC. Ooh, Sudsy was hard.
Then he leaves us and look at his career.
Becomes like one of the best quarterbacks to ever play. Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So I got in trouble last week. My mom, she wasn't happy.
No.
She wasn't happy. We were talking about her.
Yeah.
I told her to get over it.
Yeah.
It happens. She's good. She said, "You're going to lose all your listeners." I said, "We don't have any listeners. Don't worry about it. What are we going to lose?"
What? Oh, because of Whitey?
Yeah. Oh, because we were talking about her. Her.
Yeah.
We
don't want to talk about. Let's not talk about it again.
We'll talk about other things. Listen, I look at. I don't think we'll have to go to the record books for this one, but I don't think there's ever been an east to west crossover. It's always been west to east. Always.
No, never east to west.
Yeah.
No.
It can happen though. They can happen both ways, but it's never happened that way.
I don't even think people would look at it that way because we've never had 4 strong teams in the East ever.
Not consistently strong. But so you look at the standings right now. The Cats need to keep pace with the second place team in the West just to make sure they're good, right? You don't want to start, slipping below.
Well, it'll be the 4th place, right? In the West.
Yeah, but I'm saying you're going to want to at least try to maintain that second, so you have no stress going into the playoffs, right? I can't believe that Ottawa's played 10 games and Winnipeg's played 10 games and all those. That's great. They got 4 more games. Regular season's over. It's
over. Yeah. So, I mean, it's huge. I think they have Ottawa this week. Hamilton does. So that's going to be massive. Can you imagine Hamilton going 4-6 and then Toronto's at 3-9 or 3-8? Like they're right behind them. So
I know.
I think they'll be okay. They played well enough. Mazzoli looked good. I thought they played a decent game again. Just find a way to win it. Find a way to close them. The knockout punch, we called it.
That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
All you got to do. Hey, good news with the Ticats this year. So 2 things. One, Grey Cup is going forward, right? It won't be the same fan event in terms of, the festivals and all that other stuff. But the in-game and everything surrounding the game is going to be top notch. And most importantly, they got awarded the Grey Cup back in 2023. That's huge.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
I thought that was a typo.
No, that was actually real. That's what press releases are for.
It was. I didn't even know it. 2 years? Like how
so they're getting it again in 2 years. So they'll get it this year. It'll be the abbreviated, version of a festival. But then now they got a couple years to ramp up. If we know anything about the Cats and Scott and Matt and everybody behind the scenes, the 2021 this year was going to be outstanding, but the 2023 is going to be beautiful.
Because I talked to Bob Young before the game, and we interviewed him. Right, it was nice to know that I was interviewing Bob, and
6 seconds before he did it.
Hey, we got a question for him.
Okay, George.
Okay, George. So I asked him. I said, "Hey, what is it around the league? What's the word with the owners, and how is it with COVID and everything coming back?" I said Toronto had 7,500 fans last week at their game. I said a bit embarrassing, and Bob looked and said, "Hey, 7,500's better than 0." And I said, "Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, you're good." But and talking to him about the festivities and what's going on that week of, I think it's December 6th that week, right? The 12th is
the game's on the 12th.
He said it was going to be unbelievable. Like they're going to make it. I think it's going to go.
It's still going to be a great, fantastic event. Don't get me wrong. But the beautiful thing is we don't have to, 2 years from now, the hope is you don't worry about COVID. So everything's wide open, the street festivals, the convention centers, all that stuff, right?
Yeah. Well, hey, from what I know from that organization, they'll know how to put together a good party for the fans, whether they're in it or not. Hopefully they are.
Hopefully we'll still be around. I think we'll still have this podcast 2023. What the hell are we going to talk about?
Well, we should have it in December still. We can maybe do a live show from down in one of the tents.
I know we should do that. I'm supposed to be away though. I'm supposed to be away.
Okay, well, listen, I haven't even said anything yet, but I'm supposed to be in Arizona on the Sunday. The 6th or 5th, and I'm supposed to be. I just talked to.
Why don't we do it remote? We can remote it. Nowadays, you can do anything from a distance. I'm supposed to be in either Puerto Rico or Nicaragua, of all places.
What?
I know. Okay. Hey, guess who I talked to yesterday? You'll never believe who I spoke to. We haven't seen this guy in at least 10 years. Mutual friend. Well, acquaintance. He's a character. He played apparently, a snippet in the CFL back in the day. He used to be around the boys. when we were, do you remember Collingwood trips? Will that tip you off any bit? Little bit?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, you
Mr.
saw Mainsy?
Mr. Paul Mainsy.
How did you see him?
I didn't see him. Oh. This is the funny story. So I got connected to a guy for business purposes that I reach out to, and we were texting back and forth. I've never met this guy before. He goes, do you know Paul Maines? I said, oh my God. And when somebody asks you that question, you don't know whether to say yes or you don't know whether to say no, because you don't know where it's coming from. Mainsy's a beauty. So it turns out these two guys are like best friends growing up. Next, I've never met this guy. He's got me on a 3-way call with Mainsy from PEI. Mainsy's got 6 kids now. Oh. 6 kids. He's been in PEI for 10 years. And the only reason he's still probably fully functioning is because he lives at PEI. Can you imagine if he was still running the town?
He had some money. God. He had some money on him, didn't he?
Oh my God. And we just hung around, eh? All right, go to the bar. Okay, George, let's go.
The Italian wallet with the elastic band around the cash. That's all it was.
That's it.
Oh my God. He was 6 kids?
6.
Oh my God.
I think he had one older one to begin with, but somehow he picked up 5 more along the way. No idea.
Yeah, they adopted her. She was a 6-foot Swedish blonde at 17. Yeah, he adopted her.
Mainsy. Now listen, Mainsy would show up at Grey Cup, speaking just randomly show up, and everybody would know him by the time the party was over. Yeah. Like what a character. But speaking of games, speaking of Grey Cup, speaking of parties, let's talk a little bit. I don't think we've really spoken about what was your favorite road trip when we were playing? Like, what was the place you like to go? And it could be a combination of things, but what was the best arena or stadium? What was the best, place to eat? What was the best place to go after the game?
So
what do you think?
Yeah, let's talk about both of this. We'll talk about that, and then we'll talk about the worst locker rooms.
Oh my God.
We'll get into that after. We'll get into that after. So I would say my favorite city, I like Montreal.
Oh, me too, buddy. How can you not like Montreal?
Yeah, Montreal was great. Stadium. Okay, we'll talk about this. The stadium was nice and on top. Like fans are on top of you. It was quaint. It was small. But the locker room,
terrible.
Hit your head on the stairs from
on the bottom of the concrete stands.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Stuff dripping.
But just after a game, and you know what though. A lot of the times we took the train right back home after Montreal too. And I think the coaches did that on purpose.
Absolutely.
Honestly, they did not want to stay in there overnight again. No, not the crew that we had.
No. They actually, that was the only road trip in my time with both Toronto and Hamilton, the only road trips that the coaches checked at curfew.
Yep.
Other than that, pretty much, Ronnie was good. Ronnie knew we were having fun. He didn't care. As long as we came to play, he didn't care. Don Matthews, when I was in Toronto, he didn't care about nothing. But if you didn't play well, you were gone. That's basically it. You were either on the team or off the team. But all those places, man, you'd go out, you'd see everybody. You'd see coaches out, you'd see trainers out, you'd see everybody, opposing team out. That was the spot, man.
You couldn't ever get by Ronnie Lancaster because he'd be having a dart about 1 a.m. outside having a dart. And you could walk right through those doors and he'd be sitting right there having a dart.
Oh, because he'd have 30 of them. From? He'd just pound straight 30 in a row. We'd roll in. Hey, coach. See you later.
Remember the yellow fingers?
Oh, stained.
Oh, you held his hand at the prayer.
Absolutely. Smelled like nicotine for the rest of the game. Speaking of the Montreal, how about because I agree. First of all, my favorite road trip's Montreal, without a doubt. Love that arena too. Like it's intimate, right? They're right on top of you. But how about the train rides to both Montreal and Ottawa? I don't know if they do them anymore. First of all, we did them because Via gave us free, train rides, or else, who wants to pay when you can go for free for a 6-hour train ride? It was what we called the world's longest runway. The train would never take off.
Yeah. No,
but the characters, you remember going, because the beauty of the train was everything was free. So you could fit as many people as you want. We had the VIP cars. Everything was nice. But, Side Door Gary was there. Electric Joe was there. All the Sudsy's buddies, sponsors from the team were there, backup players, you name it.
And we hated when they came because the cart with the booze and the food started up the front. We all sat at the back. By the time it got back to, sorry, there's no beer left. We look up and Electric Joe's got 7 in his he's stealing everything.
They were having the time of their life.
Yeah.
They loved it.
But yeah, that train ride was fun because what do we do to the rookies? Like we always, every single train trip, because we had a fan, there used to be like 5 different parts full, all the way back. Like there was probably 300 to 500 people from Hamilton that made the trip up. So we would always, as a team, I'll never forget, Sudsy or Ronnie would say, you got to go back and you got to greet the fans, which we always did. You and I were, and Grigor and Danny Mac, we always did. And we came back with full pockets of beer. And because you go back there, but we used to send the rookies back first to check it out. Remember we said, you guys go first and get bombarded. Yeah. Go check, make sure you get everything and talk to the people. So, but then they didn't want those guys. They wanted us back there. That's how it was.
Why wouldn't they?
Yeah, well, it is what it is. But we had those trains were fun.
Oh, they were fun. But making it from our car all the way to the back, like 5-6 deep, was like an adventure. It is an adventure.
You couldn't get back.
Couldn't get back.
Yeah, you couldn't get back.
And always the cheerleaders are like at the very last car. So, the younger guys always want to go back, see what's going on, see what the gals are up to. And then they have to make it through the fans. And then the fans knew the cheerleaders there. So the fans are back there and everybody's going nuts. No one's sitting down unless you're passed out. And because you got to remember, for those people, they would take the train up on game day and take the train back on game day. Remember, they'd roll in that same day. We'd play. And then we'd get on the train on the way home and they'd roll back with us. That's a full day.
Yeah, drinking
and having fun.
Yeah. Remember some of the fans would be passed out.
Oh yeah.
Just put a chocolate on their shoulder or something on the way by.
We had some good fun with those chocolates. We had some good times with it. We can't talk about the chocolates, but we had good fun. Okay.
And some drinks.
We
had some fun with people's drinks, and people's chocolates. We had fun with. Yeah,
listen, good times. That's what happens. So talk to me a bit about your locker room thing. You're on this locker room thing. What's going on?
Yeah. Well, I was just thinking the other day, what was the worst? I'll tell you the worst visiting locker room in the stadiums, and I can tell you that Winnipeg was awful. Saskatchewan was awful. Hamilton was probably the worst.
Oh, it's terrible.
Terrible. We used to get changed in there in high school before our games. And I would have to say Hamilton and Saskatchewan at that time, or Hamilton and Winnipeg.
Winnipeg too. They're so bad. Remember Winnipeg had those lockers? They were like steel mesh lockers, garbage. It stunk. It was terrible.
If you didn't get into the shower first or fifth, the showers would start to fill up and you'd be walking into a cesspool. Guys pissing.
Oh yeah.
You walk in and the floor, we'd have to run right in. As soon as coach did his little spiel after the game, we'd burn in there, take a quick shower. Cause some of the guys used to sit there for half an hour in their football gear and then go into the shower after. And it was like
but there's stuff floating. It was just, it was overflowing. It was disgusting.
Hamilton was like that as well. But then you look at those stadiums now. Winnipeg, gorgeous stadium. Saskatchewan, gorgeous. They're all new. Imagine playing Imagine playing in that now. These beautiful stadiums.
I tell you what, I got to say, when I was doing the radio on the road there and making the road trips, the Winnipeg Stadium is beautiful. The Saskatchewan Stadium in Regina, oh my God, it's like a spaceship coming out of the ground. You would think you were in like an NFL stadium. It's just built that way when it's like everything's on top of you. It's so cool. It's amazing.
I haven't been to Winnipeg, but I heard it's like kind of like Seattle, the Seahawks, kind of like that, a smaller version of that.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, that's been with the exception of Calgary, which is still not good.
It needs updating.
It needs some work. It needs some work for sure.
But we got to get Osh and Kyle Walters to get us some complimentary tickets there. We need to go.
Of course we need to go. But you want to go to Winnipeg this time of year?
No. Right.
We'll have to go next year.
Speaking about Winnipeg, Warren Mazika.
Yeah.
Were you with us? Beauty. Were you with us when he ate the crickets on the field?
First of all, which is this the trip? Do you remember the one trip?
Saskatchewan. It was Saskatchewan, not Winnipeg.
For that. But do you remember the Winnipeg trip where we had to stay there for the week? We stayed at like the Viscount Gort. And then the one day, I think it was Greg Marshall was coaching, and he thought it'd be a good idea to bring in some university kids to practice with us. Oh. Do you remember Hacker went nuts?
Nuts.
Hacker. So Dave Hack, one of the best linemen we've ever played with, like one of the just tough as nails. He had an alter ego called Jimmy. And when Jimmy came out, and speaking of Musica, when Jimmy came out, those two would wrestle because Musica was a great wrestler. Like he was tough as nails, but Hacker was like 6'6" and 300 pounds and nuts. So those two used to live together. They used to wrestle each other on the
front lawn, on the front lawn
for no reason. Yeah. People looking at look at these two idiots. So the Greg, I think it was Greg. He tried to bring in a few local, like Winnipeg or Manitoba kids to practice with us. And you just can't do that. You just can't bring guys in to practice. Like, it's a pro team. You're not allowed to do that. You can't add players. And Hacker went crazy. He basically had like a sit-in. Basically said, "We're not practicing." He went nuts
because he was a player rep.
Yeah, and he was just an angry person. We got to get Hacker on the show too. I prefer Jimmy. Jimmy, but we'll start with Hacker. See if we can get Jimmy to come out.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. But
so what happened with the crickets?
Yeah. Remember there was an infestation of crickets.
There was tons of them.
We couldn't even practice. They were jumping on our faces, and guys were losing it. Eh? Like some of the guys from not around there, they're like, what is this place? It was like, it was awful. Anyways, Lord of the Flies. And,
bad.
So these crickets were just flying everywhere, jumping on everybody. And Warren, and these crickets, let me tell you, in Saskatchewan, they're like mosquitoes. The mosquitoes there are like bees. That's how big they are. And he grabbed two of these crickets, and they were probably an inch and a half long, and they were massive. And we were mating. And he grabbed it and went, and you heard it crunch, and we thought it was a joke. He actually ate it. And guys were like me, like I was gagging. Other guys were like, "What did he just do? Like he just ate a cricket?" Like, yeah, he ate a cricket. Then he smashed one. He smashed one on his Cro-Magnon forehead. He smashed one on his forehead. And he was all like, "What's wrong with these people?"
Lots. That's why we loved him. That's why we loved him. He was fit right in. He was another one of the donkeys that had the list. Yeah, but so we stayed in our career. We stayed in Saskatchewan for a week. The one time we've stayed in Winnipeg for a week. I can't remember if we stayed. I know with Toronto, we stayed in Red Deer for a week. That was the Gong Show. But remember staying in Winnipeg. I think Ken Peters was the reporter at that time. And he wrote in the paper something about us coming in late or after curfew because he was sitting in the lobby. Remember the beatings he got after? Well, Ken Peters was not liked.
We never talked to him.
No,
we kiboshed it every time he wanted to do an interview. We said no because he ratted the guys out. Yeah, because I think we lost, right?
We had lost, and then he said something about the guys were rolling in after curfew, and blah 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 blah. But the funny thing is, we had at that point, remember, we had guys like Jeff Dickens and Milty and all those guys who were cream of the crop, right? Yeah. They were the true old school reporters. They reported on the game. They didn't report on what we were doing. They reported on what was important. But Kenny took it a step too far, and that was it. Kiboshed.
Yeah, but every time he came, and this is weeks after coming into our locker room after, get out. Remember? Get out. I think Ozzy, if I'm not mistaken, did Ozzy not?
Yes, there was an incident. There was an incident.
A little push? I don't want to say because I don't know.
I don't know, but apparently get cleared up in court. It's okay. None of us saw anything. No. None of us saw anything. There was 15 of us playing cards.
53 guys in there, 15 of us playing cards, and I don't know how Peters fell on the floor. Yeah, that was bad. We kicked him out.
Was it Peters or was it the other guy, Larry Szynski?
Oh, I don't know.
I think it was. Anyways, We
we'll
had
find
a couple.
out. Yeah,
We'll
find
find out.
Peters, if you're listening, or we'll figure out the culprit here.
Oh yeah, it was tough, man. You walk into that locker room. If you didn't, if you're going the other direction, if you weren't kind of playing nice, then we weren't playing nice either.
Well, there's 6 or 7 real reporters that came in, and 2 of them were the only ones that wrote anything about us. The other 5 were just in there holding on to the recorder in your face. Where are you from? I don't worry about it. Just put it right there. And
some of those guys, they talked us this close away. You could see their nose hairs. It's like, okay, back away. A little bit too close for comfort.
Yeah. Oh,
bad.
Yeah. Anything planned for this weekend? The reason why I'm saying this, because I got something I'll tell you about.
Oh, you're setting yourself up. Okay, yeah. What do you have planned, Rob?
No, you first.
I don't have anything. I may have to go. I got to do some work travel, so I'm going to be out and about. I just don't know whether I'm leaving Monday or leaving Sunday. So
where is this work thing?
Well, if I tip it off, I can't really let you know. Oh, okay. I can't say. Well, they're both for work. They're 2 new teams. One's the launch, and one is a brand new team that we're going to launch soon. So it's a bit of a secret. Okay. So if I told you where it's going, it would give it away.
That's fine. It's all good.
No, you don't care anyway. What do you care about?
Just text me where you're going. I won't tell anybody.
I'll text you where I'm going, buddy. Okay. What are you doing?
Well, we have our Pens. I don't know if anyone can see this, but this is our Pens hockey league.
Yeah. What's that from? Who's this?
This is hoodies. Guys? Our beer league.
You make your own shirts?
Buddy, our beer money. We got shirts. We got masks. We got hats. We got everything. Hoodies. It's
beautiful.
You wouldn't be able to play on the team.
I can't play anyways.
No. Anyways, we have our finale golf tournament, and it's debauchery. Yeah, it is. We have guys that bring kegs. We have a guy named Ted.
Thirsty.
We have a guy. His name is. We call him Ted from the movie Ted. And
is his name Ted, or do you just call him Ted?
No, Davy Brown is his name. But anyways, he brings the cylinders, the keg cylinders, the skinny ones. Yeah, I think there's like a couple gallons of stuff. He pre-mixes rye and ginger ale in these things, and he puts it. He gets a golf bag, takes all the stuff out, all the clubs, right? Yeah. Puts the cylinder in, has the head for the pump.
Come on.
He cut all the irons off the shaft.
Yeah.
Placed them into the holes. It looks exactly like you have another golf bag, except it's a keg and it's a dummy. They're dummy heads.
Come on.
And we have rye and ginger ale for 5 gallons for the whole thing.
Does everyone does the course know this?
No, they can't. They look at it, and he's got a head cover over top of the.
That's brilliant.
Brilliant. And I'm going to get a picture, and I'm going to have to show you.
Yes, that's a professional.
Anyway, that's the start. That's going to be the start. So we're teeing off, I think, at 9 o'clock. It'll be chilly. So we have that all day, and then my son's got a hockey game, and then Sunday we have 20 of the Hitchcock family. We're doing a year-end golf tournament on Sunday.
No way. So is this the one you used to roll down to the Myrtle Beach or wherever you used to go?
No, that was in Hamilton. In Hamilton, we used to do a bunch of them, but just all the family. But now that the kids, like Matthew's 15 and Ava's 17 now, my kids, and my nephews are all in their 20s and 30s. So everyone's going to play. So we have 20 of the Hitchcocks, extended family. We're going to play here at Rockway. And,
wow. That's a good course for that crew. Usually you play satellite or pros, right?
Yeah. Pros. Yeah. Usually. Yeah. My daughter hasn't swung a club yet. So thank God it's a 4-man scramble. But anyways, that's my weekend. I've got a lot of golf this weekend. It's supposed to be decent. But the hockey one is going to be, I'll have to get some pictures.
Oh my God. But then you got to burn the pictures after.
Yeah. We had a guy, we had a guy, I won't mention his name, but the last time we played up at Riverview, and there was a dead raccoon on the side of the road, because the road is right there. This guy had a few in him, and he ended up grabbing the tail of this thing dead and was dragging the carcass along the parking lot. Yeah, he's a good friend of mine too.
Yeah, apparently he is.
Yeah, when he drinks rye, he goes a little bit snaky. So we try to keep him off the rye, but
stay off the rye. The rye will get you.
One of my best friends. I just can't mention his name.
The thing is, no one will guess because you got so many guys that are like that it's just it's like a pick 'em. You never know who it's going to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, listen, but it sounds like you got a good weekend. I have no idea. I mean, I got, when the kids get older, it's like you got to take them to sports and this and that, and then you wait around. And now with COVID, you can't go inside. So you end up doing nothing, right? Sitting in the car on your phone. Terrible.
Yeah. Did I tell you that I text your daughter?
You did. She told me.
Yeah. So I said, hey, I'm going to, next time I see her dad, I'm going to drop some money off for him and happy birthday. I owe you lots. And she goes, okay. That's all she wrote back. They don't text, right? Is it Snapchatting or what are they doing?
No, well, it's Snapchats, which I have no idea about. No, but that's how they communicate, eh? Like the kids communicate. They have full on all day conversations on FaceTime and text and Snapchat. It's crazy, but that's how they do it.
I thought I wrote a nice little thing and it was okay.
Nice, eh?
It's been a couple of years, so I don't blame her.
Maybe she's hoping. Maybe that way you feel bad. You throw another 20.
Yeah.
No, that's what it is.
Another 5. I could owe you for the 5 birthdays I haven't seen you, and here's $25.
There you go, buddy. Enjoy. Don't spend it all at once. Buy yourself a bubble tea.
Yeah.
You ever had bubble tea? So good.
My kids do. I don't like
really?
That. Oof.
So good. You don't like it, eh?
Those things are like tapioca.
Yeah. It's not like tapioca.
Fish eyes. Fish
so
eyes.
good.
No, don't like it.
I would love a sponsorship. If anybody's listening, I would love a bubble tea sponsorship.
We have to talk to our producers and ask about the ratings. Is there even is anybody
even who pays attention to this, by the way?
I don't know. We got to ask that question. And then
we should find out.
Yeah, and then a guest. Who do you want to have on next? We need to have someone on, like ex-player.
We do. You think so, eh?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Who do you want to get, though? So it should be our era? Should it be before us? Should it be current? Could it be somebody who played in the league that didn't even play for the Cats? Maybe they have different perspective on what it's like coming to play in Hamilton. I don't know. Who do you want to get? Somebody who's,
How about Osh?
Oh, he wouldn't do it, though. Not during the season.
No, he won't.
He's too nuts.
Kyle might. No. He's too quiet.
Yeah. You got to find,
Danny Mac, maybe?
Danny Mac would, but I think Danny would be reserved, right? I think a lot of guys, we got to find the guys that are going to say what they think.
Grigor.
Oh, we could put Grigor. We should get Grigor.
Yeah.
We could get we can get guys like Jeff Cummins. We get
not Ozzy. Not Ozzy yet.
We can't even find Ozzy. If anybody's seen Ozzy, put it in an APB. An all points bulletin on Ozzy. He's not hard to miss. Well, somebody let us know where he is.
We will definitely have somebody for the next show. Maybe the following one, but in talking with some of my buddies, they're saying a little bit of structure would be good.
Yeah.
And I said, well,
we don't like structure.
Spit and Chicklets, I guess, is one that I've heard once, and they've got a structured show. They talk about X for 5 minutes, then this, then this. I don't mind a structured show, but we're going to be running out of material. We can only talk about so much of the road, right? How much more could we talk about? We've got a few more stories that we can get.
This is just the metamorphosis of this show. It's going to start one way. Yeah. It's going to go off one tangent to another tangent, and next thing you know, we'll either be off the air or whatever. Nobody will care, and then we'll just be in the abyss of podcasts.
Agree.
So
we'll just keep doing what we're doing.
Keep doing what we're doing. Hey, speaking of keep doing what we're doing, buddy, I got work to do. You got more stuff to study for your security guard test. So
yes,
I got to let you go. You got to let me go. We got to let the fan base go. I know everybody's on the edge of their seat now. Number 6 is in the books, people. This is the Morreale and Hitch podcast on the Ticats audio network. We'll see you next time.
Ciao.
Morreale and Hitch, dropping every Wednesday. Subscribe, like, laugh.